Back, we continue live right here at Pittsburgh CW. Bordas and Bordas Hotline. Call it 412-575-2600. Bob Pompeani, Gene Collier. So it looks like the Antonio Brown sweepstakes may come to an end this Friday. Reports are heating up. Adam Schefter of ESPN reported that the Steelers are saying put your best offer on the table as soon as possible, and he predicts it'll be over by Friday. So if you look at Vegas, the betting odds have these three teams top of the list. Number one, Oakland Raiders, a team, Gene, we thought would be the leading candidate. They have a lot to offer, and John Gruden likes that guy. Number two, the Tennessee Titans, still in the mix. And number three, a mystery team, because the Jets in Arizona apparently are not involved anymore. Who would be the mystery team in your mind?
No idea. The Eagles?
I don't know. Could be. So the question then becomes, what do the Steelers get? And because there is lots of interest, you wonder, will it still be a first-round pick or something lower? And then the question, Gene, is if it's not a first-round pick, is a lost deal for the Steelers in that they probably needed to get more, but they didn't, and they just accepted?
Well, I think from the minute that it was apparent that Antonio Brown was not going to be here, it was immediately apparent that they're not going to get equal value for him. Even if they got a first-round pick, that wouldn't be equal value for him, right?
Well, I don't know. No, I wouldn't. Based on what he's done, he's number one in the NFL East in the last 6 years.
What if you brought this up at the end of November?
Oh, no. You would have said, right, first of all, we're not trading him. Second of all, you'd have to give us three number ones and a player.
Right.
So based on his actions, it's led to where we are today.
Right.
But it should be over. Never fear, it should be over soon. Jim in Castle Shannon. Hey, Jim, how you doing? Welcome to the Sports Call.
Hey, Bob, how you doing? Hi, Gene.
Hey, Jim.
Hey, I got three quick questions for you, Bob.
Oh, make it quick.
Okay, this one's for Gene. The over-and-under on the Pirates is 78.5. What do you think, Gene? It'll go over?
No, I think it'll be over.
And number two is, do you think Smith will play any of the games over the weekend instead of Murray? And number three, does Pitt get to play in Atlantic in the conference, the ACC tournament?
Yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean, the way they're going, I wouldn't expect much. Thanks for the call. To the first question, over and under 78 for the Pirates.
I think a little bit under, but I have them about where I had them last year, between 72 and 82. I realize that's a wide range, but they're right in there. I don't think they're going to win 65, and I don't think they're going to win 90.
Do you think they're going to add to their payroll? Right now it's under $60 million as it stands right now, which is the lowest of any team in the National League.
Yeah, Keuchel's still out there, right?
We talked about Dallas Keuchel about 2 weeks ago, and I know Andrew Filipponi made a pretty good case about it on the radio, and I've said the same thing. Why wouldn't you? Now, his demands are his demands, but no one's touched him so far. He's a former Cy Young Award winner who puts up Well, but okay, but even with his salary, even meeting his demands, you still are far below even what you were last year in terms of payroll.
Yeah, well, they won't because they're the Pirates.
Okay, if that's the reason, then that's a bad reason because he's available to him and he can solidify what is a good-looking staff. If they had him, how would you rank their starting pitching?
I mean, probably the best certainly the best in the division, maybe the best in the league. But you know, they don't even consider that a need. Starting pitching.
You can never have enough pitching, Gene. You've heard that before.
I believe
pitching wins. Jim in Ross Township. Jim, welcome to the Sports Call.
Hey, Bob, how you doing, buddy?
What's up,
good.
Man?
Hey, Gene, what's going on?
How are you, Jim?
Okay, I have a question on AB, Gene's favorite topic.
Jim.
Will he get into the Hall of Fame if he plays this year, which he'll play?
Yes.
And he stinks out the joint. Well, do you think he has a chance to get in the Hall of Fame?
Yes.
What's that?
Yes.
Even with all the credentials he has behind him, all the trouble.
The trouble won't matter.
Terrell Owens is in the Hall of Fame, Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it won't matter. It's what he's done on the field. I'm a big believer in what you've done on the field over everything else in any sport, but especially the way this sport is set up.
And Ray Lewis, he's in the Hall of Fame too, right?
There are a lot of people in the Hall of Fame, in all halls of fame.
Oh my God, case closed. All right, guys, have a good evening.
Hey, thanks for the call, Jim.
Appreciate that. Let's go out to Brett in Allison Park. Hey, Brett, how are you?
Hey, Bob. How's it going, guys?
Good. What's up?
Just wanted to hats off to the Robert Morris Colonials. My wife and I just got back a little bit ago, down by 15 at halftime.
Yeah.
Fought back, took it to overtime, and won.
Yeah, it was. Who was it? Was it Matty McConnell who hit a shot right before to force overtime, and then they go on and win? It's a first-round NEC game, so they move on, and that secures a winning season for them.
Yeah, a lot of key free throws in the end there that kept them in the game in the overtime to win it.
Who do they have next now?
Oh boy, you got me.
I gotta
just
find
got
that out.
in the
I
door.
just saw the St. Francis, and then they beat them, so now it's I'll
Fairleigh
find that
Dickinson,
out.
is it?
Could be Fairleigh Dickinson.
Might be.
But the bottom line is that's a nice win. You're right, down 15 points anytime you do that. Thanks for the call. Also tonight, Duquesne got 40 points from Eric Williams Jr., but they lost to St. Louis 85-75. So, Gene, they still, I think, are 1 away from 20 wins.
Yeah, that would be something for Duquesne to win 20. When was the last time that happened?
And is anyone playing better than Penn State right now?
No.
I mean, they won at Rutgers tonight, but that's not saying much. But, I mean, they've beat some really good teams lately. They put it together very late. All right, back to the lines we go. That would be line 3, and it's JB in Squirrel Hill. What's up, JB?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, how are you?
All right, I have two things. One, do you think that when Orlandis Chapman beat McCutcheon, every time he was at bat, he basically threw his career like to a downhill slide? The other thing is, do you think that LeBron James, if he'd gone to the Sixers, as the team is constituted right now, there would be a direct threat, I believe, to Golden State? What do you think of that?
Say that again. Well, why would LeBron go? He's under contract for 4 years in L.A.
No, I'm saying he should have gone to the Sixers instead of the Lakers, and then the Sixers would have been.
I think the
direct
Sixers.
threat to
I think
Golden
the
State.
Sixers are a Golden State threat already. And if I,
No,
did you watch last night,
no.
Boston, what they did to Golden State?
No, they're not, Bob. Sorry. Talk to you later.
All right. Well, I'm telling you, Boston, if they get it together like they did last night, they went into Golden State and routed them. They were up by 34 at one point before they called everybody out of the game. Gene, I know this is not your cup of tea,
No,
but
I mean, I do follow the Sixers, at least in the newspaper. And I think they're a really talented, really deep team. And I think T.J. McConnell does a great job for them. I think they could beat anybody, maybe with the exception of Golden State, but I think they're very good.
the Eastern Conference is going to be a lot tougher without LeBron at Cleveland, so that eliminates them. But they have some pretty good teams. Toronto, Milwaukee, maybe the team no one's really talking a lot about that could get there.
Yep.
But I think there are a lot of teams this year can challenge Golden State, and I didn't think I'd say that at the beginning of the year. 412-575-2600 is the number to call. Let's go to Mary in Turtle Creek. Hey, Mary.
Hi, I have one question for Gene and one comment.
Okay.
I've been out of school for like 52 years, but my one favorite teacher was Mr. O'Gell. He used to play for the Steelers. I just wondered if you ever heard of him. And my second comment is, I think that Antonio Brown, I'm really going to miss him because he's one of my favorite players, but he got to go because I don't think he wants to play for the Steelers. And I think one thing he got tired of was people getting his personal business that had nothing to do with football, plus other things.
Well,
but
I mean, he put everything out there, Mary. It's up to him to,
Yeah,
you know, that's the bottom line. He put all, you know, I never understood the press conference where he stood in front of everybody and said, out of the blue, it was at minicamp where he said, I'm tired of dealing, you guys don't respect it, out of the blue. It's like, wait a minute.
Bro,
You
never
put
follow
everything
what?
of your personal life on Instagram.
Absolutely.
And if anybody does anything, it's reacting to what you've put out there. You can keep it quiet. You don't have to do any of this. Wasn't that kind of weird?
AB?
Okay.
Come on, Bob.
That was the start of it, I thought. All right, let's go to line 4. That's Jeff in Altoona, who's on the sports call right now. Borders and Borders Hotline. Jeff, go. Jeff.
What was Mary's other question?
Jeff. All right, sorry about that. I don't know. Mary had another question.
Fran Rogel?
Yes. Do you know him?
No.
Okay.
All right.
That answers that. Let's go real quick out to Richard in Polish Hill. What's up, Richard? How are you? Richard.
Hey, go ahead, Richard.
Yeah.
Turn your
Go
TV
ahead. You're
up.
on.
Go ahead. Turn your TV up.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
All right.
I just want to ask you something. Everybody was saying about the Green Bay Packers.
For Antonio? Yeah, I think that's what you meant. Thanks for the call, Jim. You got to turn that TV up, as Gene said, or down, one of the two. You know, Green Bay has a 30th pick, I think.
Yeah.
They may be enticed to do it just because Aaron Rodgers wants weapons and
Good quarterback.
Yeah, but I still got to believe the 27th pick is where it's going to end up, and the Oakland Raiders will deliver it to the Steelers.
Yeah, they seem to have a little more flexibility and a little more stupidity than a lot of teams.
412-575-2600. We got to take a break. We have Bob. We have Jeff. Jeff in Altoona, I think we got the name wrong. Sorry about that, Jeff, but we'll get to you when we take a short time out. This is the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call, Pittsburgh CW.